Okay, so we were talking about schools and the different languages. So, like I said, you start learning French in third grade, which means that this classroom with this alphabet will be third grade or higher. And then this is the Arabic that they are learning to write. So, this would be a kindergarten, first, second grade classroom. And Arabic is written from right to left, and you have the different diacritics to. So a lot of times when Arabic is written into the Roman alphabet, you can write it without the vowels, and so then you just kind of insert the vowels because you know where they go. It's very interesting that people can write it different ways. Okay, pictures from school. So this is um, a third grade classroom, a third grade or fourth grade classroom. And when teachers ask a question, students point their finger in the air and say, teacher, 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 so that they know that they can get called on to answer the question. This is a high school called Excellence High School in Gelmim. And you'll see it's very typically desks are seated two beside each other, but teachers have to bring their own dry erase markers, their own erasers, everything, and then each teacher. It's kind of like a university that teachers don't teach in the same classroom. That students and teachers have to switch. Still in the same school, Gelmim Public High School at the top, these students are writing pen pal letters to my students, US students. This is the main entrance of the school. And so you come through here, the building goes all the way around, and I'm taking this picture from the second floor. At, I think it's 9 a.m. on Monday, they start with an assembly here. They raise the flag, sing the national anthem, and then the flag goes down either on Friday or Saturday whenever the classes are finished for the week. These are students in an elementary school, and they are copying presentations in 3 different languages. And it's very interesting, but you still see some of this kind of classical Arabic study from the Quran, and it comes from when people used to, well, they still do, memorize large parts of the Quran. So, for example, like a lot of classrooms are still heavy on memorization instead of actually hands-on. So we had some French teachers, or I'm sorry, science teachers in our group, and those science teachers knew that when they went, they wouldn't have the materials to have an experiment. And the students were so excited to, when they brought materials for experiments, because they usually just have to read about how an experiment went when somebody else performed it. One thing in classrooms is you have to have curtains, heavy curtains, because there are no windows, or there's no screens at least. And so this is the entrance out here to the school. And basically the curtain helps to keep out the sun and the noise from the outside of the classroom. This is in the technical high school. These are students that are using what they applied and running a computer program. This is another public high school, but this is in Casablanca, and you'll see the king's picture is everywhere. And as far as natural resources, so Rabat, the capital, is on a river, and so there was a lot of fishing. You can see the palm trees, and this is the historic city called the Medina, and it has this big wall back here that kind of like walls off the old city. Spices in the market. Tangerines actually come from the Moroccan city of Tangier, and these are figs, almonds, dates, peanuts, just a variety of flavors. This is the mince that goes into the mint tea. This is orange blossom, which is another flavor that is used, and olives. And everything that you buy from the market is fresh. This is what argan looks like. So this is an argan tree, and those are goats that climb the argan tree and like to eat the argan seeds. Argan was originally discovered that they could get the peel the seed and get the oil out from when after the seed had passed through the goat's digestive system. But today they don't have to do that. You can do it with a machine. And then you press the oil, and the oil is used in a lot of cosmetics. It's great for your skin. And there's also a culinary argan oil that's used for cooking as well. It's very, very popular. So on Saturday morning, we went to a camel market, and camel meat is very common. It's actually more common than regular beef, in the South at least. And also camel milk is more common, and using camels for cargo is also more common in the South. And so this is at a camel market, and so you would typically pay about $1,000 for a camel, especially if you're having a big family event like a wedding. And this is at the butcher shop. This is actually the hump of the camel, and it's just pure fat, but they cook it in because the camel meat itself is not as fatty, and so, or the camel meat, so they add this fatty, kind of like a gristle, in with the rest of the camel meat to add flavor. Islam is the religion of the state. This is the mosque in Casablanca. This is the mosque from the outside. The tall tower right here is called a minaret, and this is where you hear the call for prayer that comes from the tower 5 times a day. You can't see, but over here there's a ledge that it's kind of like built over the ocean, and there's a retractable roof on the inside. This mosque can hold 80,000 people. This is the tallest minaret in the world. I mean, it's a very impressive mosque in Morocco and in Africa. And a couple other things. This is an unfinished mosque. It was stopped in, like, I don't know, I think around 1100, because the person that they were honoring, or who wanted to buy or wanted to build it, had passed away. But they left these pillars to show where the mosque was going to be, and then this minaret was going to be the tallest in the world, and it's only about half as tall. So right now it's just kind of a memorial or a landmark, and there's a mausoleum here as well. And then on this side, this is what we call a kasbah, and the kasbah is like an old Muslim palace, and it's been turned into a neighborhood. And so these streets right here, these steps, have also been used in the Mission Impossible movie, like as a car escape, a high-speed chase as well. Okay, so part of Islam is that Friday is your Sabbath, and Friday is all about family time and couscous. So this is what couscous is. It's cooked in a tagine, and so you have couscous, you have vegetables, beef, carrots, kind of like a stew on top of it, but you eat it with your hands. It's very messy. You kind of have to pinch off the food that you want, roll it into a ball in your hand, and then you eat it. You also only eat with your right hand because the left hand is considered unclean. And before you enter the house, you take off your shoes. There's all kinds of sandals, flip-flops, Crocs, standing on the edge, so that way then you can just grab shoes if you need to run to a different room of the house. Clothing, this is called a kaftan. And there's also a jaleba. And so these are the clothing that is typically worn over top of regular Western clothing. This is the daughters of the principal of the host school, and they were showing us how you would dress up for a fancier occasion. And these are women that I met that are English teachers, and it is not necessary to wear the headscarf, but if you can see, I wore a scarf over my shoulders, just to be more modest, so that way then I was respecting the culture. But it is not mandatory for women to wear the headscarf.